get you some. Oh yeah. Mate, it's lucky she can cook. Wow! G'day lovelies, welcome back. Alright, are you ready for this one? Honey chicken. This is a redo because it's going in my cooking book, and I'll tell you right now, big call, best thing I've ever made. So when you get the chance, go out and grab the ingredients. You're welcome. So I'll write the recipe below as always. So we need 3 large chicken breasts. Right, so get a bowl out to stick it in. Now normally the fillet would be there, but they've already cut it off. So what we want to do is you want to slice it to the same thickness. So that way when they're deep frying, they will all cook at the same time. So you want to cut them in roughly pieces that size, alright? Alright, chuck them all in a bowl. Just remember the same thickness. Once that's done, we'll set it aside for a minute and get the marinade. So for the marinade, we're going to need some pure sesame oil. I hope you can see that. Alright, so that will be in the little Asian section of any grocery store. We need dry sherry. This is about $9 a bottle. You have to go to an alcohol store to get it. Absolutely worth getting, especially if you're going to be making a lot of my recipes, because a lot of them have got that in it. Now I've got the chicken bouillon powder, which is basically like a chicken stock. Now this one you get from the Asian section, and if you can't find it there, I noticed the other day there's an Aussie version in where you get your powdered gravies and that from. And we need some sugar. 2 tablespoons of dry sherry, 2 tablespoons of pure sesame oil, 1 teaspoon of the powdered chicken bouillon, 1.5 teaspoons of plain white sugar. Now we want to mix it in really well. Oh mate, that smells so good. Well, the whole family's coming around. I literally haven't made this for 2 years because of the show, and they are all hanging for it. I started making this about 20 years ago, and I tell you, for the first couple of years in a row, I was making it like, I had to make it like at least once a week. It's beautiful on its own for get-togethers or having a few drinks. It's absolutely amazing cold the next morning, especially with a hangover. Alright, now we want to really toss it in well and get it to be coated on all the chicken. Then we're going to cover it in Glad wrap and we're going to stick it in the fridge for an hour. Alrighty, the hour's up. Now we're going to make the honey sauce that coats the chicken at the end. So we're going to need honey, tomato ketchup, soy sauce, white sugar and white vinegar. Alright, so I like using a jug, it's just easier. So we need 1/4 cup of white sugar, 1/3 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and then we want to stir it in really well. Alright, once you've mixed that in well, I've just done it with a fork. We want 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and then mix that in. Then we just set that aside and just give it a little stir every now and again while we're doing everything else. Now to cook the chicken in, we need a wok and 3 cups of peanut oil. Then you want to grab a couple of plates with some paper towel on it, ready to go for when we're cooking the chicken. Now we want to get a couple of freezer bags out, and in the first one we want to put 1 cup of plain flour. Then we grab a bowl and we want to whisk 3 eggs with a fork. We need a bag of cornstarch. Now these ones I get from an Asian grocer. Now if you can't get near an Asian grocer, if you go to, like say, the IGA or whatever your local one is and look at the Asian section there, a lot of the times I have topiapa starch or something it's called. Sometimes I've used potato starch and whatever I can get my hands on. But if you have got an Asian grocer somewhere, go and grab some cornstarch. Now with that, before I moved up here, I bought a heap of bags to make sure I had it. They last forever. So if you're going to do a trip to go and get it from somewhere, from an Asian grocer, get a heap of bags and then you don't have to go back. So I'm going to put that whole bag into the freezer bag. Now that's done, I've got a couple of decent sized spring onions. I'm going to clean them up, slice them up really thin on an angle and chuck them in a bowl, and we're going to sprinkle them all over the top after. Last thing we need is some sesame seeds. Now today I'm going to use the electric wok, so I'm going to put it about 3/4 and then see how we go from there. Now if you don't have a wok, you can absolutely use your deep fryer, but you do need to use the peanut oil. It's just the way it cooks. This is so nice because it's so close to authentic without the MSG. So yeah, the only difference with using your deep fryer is you probably have to put a lot more oil in. This way, if you're using a wok, you only need the 3 cups. Peanut oil is not cheap. While that's heating up, I'll just show you. Okay, so what we want to do first is we want our plain flour. get our chicken out of the fridge. We want to put one batch, how much you would think would be one batch in our wok. Stick it in there. Alright, if you make the bag, go down with it and put air in it. I just hope you can see. And just flick it around. Okay, then we want to get one piece at a time. Shake it off. Dip it in our egg. And then straight into our starch. And when we put all the pieces in our starch, do the exact same thing with the bag. As soon as our wok is hot enough, we're going to get a piece out. We're going to really shake it, and then we're going to dump it in the wok. Alright, and then once they're cooking, by the time basically you get the next lot ready, they're pretty much ready at the same time. Once it's hot enough, in they go. Alright, so I ended up cranking it up to just a little bit off a high. Righty, get our paper towel. When they're a light brown colour, you're not going to be able to see this light, but I hope I can show you after. They're a light brown colour like that, and you've got all this red seeping through, which is that beautiful marinade. They're ready. So put them on the paper towel, get the next lot, and just keep going and doing it as quick as you can. These stay really hot for ages, so it'll be all good. Alright, I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I just wanted to put it under light, so hopefully you can see it. It's a beautiful light coloured brown, and you've got all that beautiful red coming through from the marinade. Now, once I've finished doing them all, I've got to turn the wok off, get a saucepan out, tip all the oil into a saucepan and put it aside to throw away later. And give your wok a quick clean out and put it on medium. Alrighty, so we've very carefully taken the oil out and given it a quick wipe out. Now we want to grab a couple of things ready to toss it, because we've got to do this really quick. Give our sauce, honey sauce, a good mix and stick it in there. I can't remember if I said I've got it on a medium heat. Now what we want to do is heat the sauce up. We want it nice and hot, so it's nice and runny to coat everything. Alrighty, once it starts to sizzle and we've got it nice and hot, we've got to get the chicken in really quick, the whole lot. Now I'm probably going to be in your way, but I can't help it. Okay, then with our two things, we want to just keep mixing it through until we can see it's all coated. As soon as we've got a beautiful coat on it all, turn it straight off. So sorry about the lighting. It's not going to look as amazing as it absolutely is. Okay, so sesame seeds. I like doing it on a couple of plates and putting a plate down each end of the table. Then your spring onion. Boom. And it is so yummy to eat with the spring onion too. Well, there you go, lovelies. The best honey chicken you will ever make. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves an awesome night. Give it a crack. You will not be disappointed.